Alright, everybody, welcome back. This is going to be another Stormgate cast. I'm Algorithmor, and this is going to be a Stormgate game between msrm here in the Blue Infernal and his Infernal opponent in the red is Speedy Gonzalez. Speedy. Speedy Gonzalez, though, is also better known as Leiny. You might know Leiny on the ladder. And Leiny is the submitter of this game. And I have not watched it yet, although I imagine it is going to be a epic one. So let's check it out. Now, so far we're getting almost mirror builds. Oh, not quite. msrm does have a vault, but he went shrine into his second shrine in the double, but his vault was earlier, so we now just see a vault from Leiny. And a couple of Hexen fighting in the backyard. Get away from my children. And msrm's Hexen does walk away, but she sees, yep, okay, you're on 3 base too. For Infernals, this is kind of standard opening. The economy is so fast right now that might as well just put down 2 shrines right away. And yeah, same thing from msrm, but now he did have his vault out. We don't see a brute yet, but I think this is strategic sometimes to have the extra charge. You can, if you have your vault down early, you don't necessarily need to build your brute right away. Or this goes for conclaves as well. Because with Infernal, of course, you can bank charges. And if you let those charges bank up, maybe while you're spending that Luminite on another shrine or more imps or whatever it might be, once you have the Luminite, you can go ahead and pump out two charges worth of brutes or gaunts all at once. So I got a little distracted there as those Shadow Mastiffs were a little bit harder for msrm to deal with than normal. They tend to be the worst creeps in the game, if you ask me, just because they are. Now, meanwhile, I spit over here to Leiny, and he's also struggling with these Shadow Mastiffs. Maybe these Shadow Mastiffs are on hard today. They're giving both sides troubles. And that's just because they're way more unpredictable than the other units, which means you actually have to micro and pay attention. Like these slimes, what do? They just stand exactly where they are, and they attack the closest thing, and they explode. That's the only thing. And honestly, I haven't seen anyone really trying to micro away from the explosions, because that's pretty much impossible to do for your melee units. So most of the other creeps are much easier to deal with than those Shadow Mastiffs. Here we got one of those Speedy Gonzalez fiends who's tried to get in here, but yeah, not enough DPS to take care of one of those imps. Another one coming in, but it's very low. Actually, it snuck by. Oh, it's hiding. But it says, no, I want to die. Please murder me. And murder is what they face. But fiends on the other side going for the speed camp first. Now, of course, remember that alerts your opponent of your presence. And okay, interesting. So trying to get 2 birds for 1 stone, attacking the effigy while capturing at the same time. But the speedy little fiends, and actually speed fiends is good, and we do see 1 imp go down there. The speed fiends re-speed up, so when they go back into the camp, they reinitiate their speed. And now they're coming in here. I love this, going for the farm. Imps move, imps can run around, imps can be, but that farm goes down so fast, and remember the damage on the farm is permanent, even if you don't get it. Nice trample to try and get these. So Leiny is doing a good job to fight back here. And nice little fiend run by. Got a farm and an imp. and an effigy. So that's a pretty effective one, actually. And meanwhile, Leiny moving to his vision tower here. Didn't capture his speed camp back. What's going on, msrm? How many of these bases do you want? I want all of the bases. And, you know, why not? Get on the bases. Ooh, Spire up already. And it's Leiny, as we saw, already going for the double Therium instead. Of course, there is double Therium over here as well. And with the economy so fast now, I wonder if msrm just thinks this is a better expand pattern now. For a while, it was this vertical pattern that you do so you can get to this double Therium plus this double Luminite. That gives you... Ooh, sorry, I missed out here. There was a drop going by here. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm like, what was with that slam micro there? Is that some kind of new meta? The Harbinger going up and down. I wonder if he had the Harbinger upgrades. Because I saw stuns there, but I think it was coming out of the Magmadon. Couldn't get it up. Oh. Well, I hear there's medis for that. Yeah, exactly. It's commonplace. No one should be ashamed of it. Glad we're getting some medical advice, especially since the demographic for this game is older men. So if you're an old man, come here for your old man medical advice. Okay, I apologize for projecting on to any of you who are not old men. I am an old man, and so it's my old manness that I'm summoning here. So Leiny going up for this base here. Let's call it its 5th base. Okay. And skipping this middle base, and I have seen this because this one's a kind of useless base. It's just a mine. It's just about as useless as this one here. But Leiny is coming across the map with a bunch of mags. Bunch of grumpy old mags. And these Shroud Stones have just gone down. They're gonna be sacrificed. And these units are so far out of position that this base is probably going to go down. As long as these mags can focus fire on it. We are starting to see the units of msrm show up. But it's the push priority of mags versus the push priority of mags. And good surround on one mag goes down. So this is actually a pretty good defense from msrm here. With the exception that he's losing his buildings up on the high ground. And now the rest of the mags can come down and join this. They try and push their way out, but yeah, that push priority is not managing to get them all down. They do finally get a little bit of surface area here. And they come out on top in msrm despite trying to defend here. Nice little Nightfall infestation to slow those mags down. Hellborns here trying their best. Of course, the Hellborns are going to accidentally try and target onto the Shadow Flyers without good micro. Yeah, sadly, these Hellborn are all getting kind of focus fire down as Leiny is splitting his mags into different groups. So many low mags here, but there's still just in the number advantage. And whether you're at 1 hit point or 100, you still do the same damage. So low. Now there's more Hellborn coming out, finally getting some good shots. Down with the low mag, sorry. This Hellborn hoping to stay alive, pulling back. I think the split army from msrm has almost been in his advantage a bit because Leiny's had to spend a lot of... what do you do? A lot of Leiny's units get caught just on move command there. And they, unfortunately, took a lot of extra damage while doing that. But still, these units from msrm are fairly spread out. And he can focus down small pockets. But that means other Magmadons are taking out farms. They left that farm really low. Don't know if I like that. This Fellhog kills a Magmadon. You don't see that very often. Fellhog, hero Fellhog. Wish we had stats on that bad boy. Wish he was getting XP for that. And what's the Shadow Flyers? Just chilling. Okay, that was a pretty crazy push out from Leiny. What's the verdict after that? Yeah, there the Hellborns find the Shadow Flyers and say, head home. Supplies dead even. msrm with a little bit of an advantage in the bank. Actually, I say that, but he spends it. And he's up to every base on his side now. Meanwhile, Leiny also putting down almost every base, still skipping this base here. The double Therium base going down for a second time for msrm after that initial harass took it out. And it looks like Leiny is going for the Therium camp, trying to get some creeping going. Now, one thing that's maybe worth mentioning is that we are about to hit the 12-minute mark. Keep our eye on that. Because in the current economy, if you have saturated your base at the beginning, and you just leave it saturated, around the 12-minute marks, almost exactly according to Dutchy, that's my buddy, he plays this game a lot, you will mine out. You will mine out right around the 12-minute mark. So we can do a quick check here. Boom. In fact, it just happened here. Just happened here. Both of those bases just mined out. So while we saw these players go up... Oh, wow, look at this matrix of defense here. While they both went up to a lot of bases early... The consequence of going up to those bases early is the income comes in real fast, but it starts to drop off. And we're starting to see it drop off now. These Wraithstones doing serious work here. That's 2% damage on every single one of these units. That's just nullifying their Shroud Skin regeneration. And the Dragons, it's so early. Both of them with 12-minute Dragons here. That's testament to the early eco, and also all the animus they got from those early fights. Did the dragon go down there? Oh my goodness, I think we just saw a dragon. Yeah, the dragon got taken out. So Leiny lost his dragon, but msrm did not, and msrm's now just going to send his dragon in. We saw his upgraded power, the inhale poison breath or whatever it's called. But now the msrm's dragon goes down too. Both of them with early dragons, both of them with those dragons down. It's Hellborn versus Hellborn, Mags and Spriggans. And as we're seeing there, the Hellborn of msrm, they want to target the Spriggans. I'm pretty sure, I wasn't watching, I just think that the priority for targeting for Hellborn is in air first. So if they have air targets to pick up, they will do that before they pick up ground targets, which is not always what you want with your Hellborn in there, especially if they got that Molten Touch. You want that splashing on all those units. You know how to fix that? Maybe they should just make it splash on air and ground. I wouldn't complain. So Leiny pulled back over here, taking this one out, choosing not to attack into this defensive matrix here. But look, there's another one over here. Way to go, msrm. Says, fine, you want to come at me? Come through a bunch of Wraithstones. And I mentioned 12 minutes is when we mine out. Let's keep an eye on these double Luminites. It depends a little bit on when they got saturated, right? But we should be seeing some of those bases drop down soon too. And when it comes to the Therium here, all gone. So those workers need to be transferred. Looks like those other workers did get transferred. What do we have here? Spriggan Force. Ooh, Raystone, ugly. No one wants to see that. Although the good thing about this, at least for Leiny, is the Raystone does no target damage. It only does the percent damage. So unless your units are really low, your regen's going to cover that. And let me remind you that when you're on tier 3, you're regenning on Shroud. Ay, ay, ay. You're regenning 6 hit points. My bad. We're regenerating 6 hit points per second, while only taking 2 hit points per second from the Wraith. Sorry, 2%, not hit points. 2%. Just saying, I'm going to put this base down right underneath your Spriggies. Now, these Spriggies should focus fire the base. Yeah. The gets cancelled. There's some of these units are, some of these imps were Leiny's imps. More Shadow Flyers show up. Bye-bye-bye, Spriggans. Yikes. Shadow Flyers win that battle. Okay. I was going to say, some of these are Leiny's units, and that farm was actually Leiny's. He's trying to take this base. More Spriggans coming, though. And immediately they're going to take out some of these. Oh, that's some good kills. Hellborn coming back, though, so here come the Shadow Flyers. Nice harass here so far from Leiny. Getting some pretty good splits. Nice splits. Very good. So only losing 2 or 3 Spriggans to a handful, probably even more than that, 8 or so. Shadow Flyers, you want those Shadow Flyers getting that splash damage. That's when they become cost effective. And we saw that earlier when some Shadow Flyers impacted on a big ball of Spriggans. That's what you want to see. Oh, look at all these Hellborn. So many. I love the Hellborn. They're big old fireballs. They're so cool. Were you ever in this position? Oh. Base is starting to mine out. What about here? msrm. His base is still up, but I bet they're super low. msrm's like, yeah. Yeah, I do this all. Oh my goodness! Now what do? Never attack. msrm's plan is you never attack. You just put your money into more towers. Now, there. Oh! Shadow Flyers on Shadow Flyer damage. That's what you never want to see. That's just the worst kind of violence. No one wants to see that. Suiciding into each other. Not even sure who gets the kills because you're both just exploding on each other. It's so sad to see. But, you know, that's the life of a Shadow Flyer. Just flying into your death one way or another. And when you see your target is another Shadow Fly flying to its death, this one Shadow Flyer tear appears in your eye. It's your final farewell. Sorry for the Shadow Flyer fan fiction here. But I just get so into these games. And now these Spriggans, they say, surely we can attack into the Shroud Stones of Death. But no, they say, have you seen there are more Shroud Stones than there are us? How could we possibly deal with that? I know. Let's build a matrix of Shroud Stones on our side. You're brilliant. But how will our Shroud Stones attack their Shroud Stones, you say? And the beauty is, they will not. They will never do that. All of those Shadow Flyers on fire. Spriggans here. Yeah, again, so many Shroud Stones here. Just they can't even get one because once they do, they have to sacrifice Spriggans to do that. So many Shadow Flyers. Okay, so it's turning into a little bit of a center of the map stalemate as we're seeing mines mine out. These ones are magic, but this one's mined out. This Therium's out. These mines out. So Leiny is somehow on fewer mines. msrm has a bank of 12,000. He sent his Shadow Flyers out to take out brigands. So he went against his claim of never attack. He's losing shroud stones to creeps. That's embarrassing. You should be able to micro those shroud stones. Of course, I'm teasing. What happened there? Possibly, actually, I don't see a wraithstone there. So that was probably an active trigger. But if your wraithstone's in range of the creeps, it will automatically trigger the creeps, and then you will have to fight them. Like that wraithstone is close enough that it might do it. Okay, so these two are choosing to be passive now. msrm's taking this. At this point, when you're starting to run out of bases to mine, these Luminite and Therium towers start to become very important because they can be a source of income. Although neither of them are choosing to attack into each other, which of course is super annoying because no one's going to win if you remain passive all game. And here we go again. That maybe was triggered by a Shroud Stone, but those Shadow Demons took it out. Here's a dragon. Oh! A ton of Spriggans. Now what's going on here? Alright. The Matrix moves forward. Who says Shroud Stones can't walk? Look at this. Look at these ones. Some of those are in range, yeah, of the Wraithstone. Like these two. They're going to be easily taken out. Blap. Blap. So many Spriggies. Okay, so he did get a couple up here. Now, not all of these bases are protected. I think the Spriggans could be doing some damage. Although it's easy for us to see that. Leiny doesn't necessarily know that. Dragon trying to be annoying over here. Oh, what are you doing, Hellborn? On the low ground, that's freebies. Now it's dragon on dragon. And this might be what we're going to see here from this game for a while, which is just skirmishes on the edge here of the defensive matrix. Although here's a gap. You could push in there. Now msrm somehow is on way more cash. And I'm not super sure how that is, other than maybe Leiny keeps sort of sacrificing units into msrm. I hate to see them. They're so slowed down. Here come. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, with a Nightfall infestation. And then so many... Oh, but a lot of Shadow Flares going down to the Hellborn. Yeah, I don't know if that exchange is working for Leiny. Like I said, maybe Leiny is sacrificing units like that and then remaxing. So he's spending his more. But msrm is still spending a lot of his income on these Shroud Stones. More than Leiny is. That's overkill on the Wraith Stones. I don't think they stack. I think you only really need one. That would be worth testing, but I'm pretty sure it's 2% if you're in the field, and that's it. It doesn't matter how many there are. So it's better if you kind of have them staggered a little bit so they have overlapping, or they just barely overlap their range. And then you have more Shroud Stones that do the single target damage. That really helps to focus those units down. Of course, the benefit of having that many Wraith Stones is even if you target one down, you're still basically standing in it. So it's like insurance. It's like extra hit points on the Wraith Stone. Let's do a little mine count over here on MSRM. It's 0 mines. There's 0 mines left. All his mines are gone. And that might be reason why there is extra shroud stones out here. All those extra imps, he can't use them for anything now. He just says, fine. Turn into shroud stones. This wraith stone, it looks like, keeps aggroing the shadow demons here. Why is your name Gonzalez, but you don't even have a conclave? And he admits it. I'm Leiny. And msrm says, oh no! Had I known from the beginning, I would have done exactly the same thing. Because actually msrm has very practiced builds, and he tends to have a plan right from the beginning. I was going to say he tends to do the same thing. That's not true. I've seen him at times play the same build over and over again when he feels that it is strong. But he's not necessarily the kind of player that sticks to one thing all the time. Some players, that's sort of their style. They have a bread and butter. They have a very well practiced build. They get it incredibly efficiently practiced, and then they just do it over and over again. If they lose a game, they assume they just, implemented it incorrectly and just try again and assume their mechanics will be better next time. Whereas other players, and I think msrm is more of this style, is they have a handful of builds. And they like to mix it up, especially when you're playing a series. You're playing 5 games against someone. If you played the exact same build every time, it becomes very easy for them to counter it. No! Megalodon! Oh. You have been sacrificed. The shortest straw has been drawn for you. Oh, Shrine, we don't need you either. We're so mad at you. Okay, it kind of makes a little sense. You don't need the Shrine anymore. Leiny still is on mining bases, though. Remember, he took these bases later. Okay, this one just mined out, too. And since Leiny was mining longer here, he... Oh, this is cool. He has his bank's caught up a little bit. And we still see that his bank's going up, whereas msrm is pretty much static. The little bit of trickle that msrm is getting is from these 2 Luminite towers that he has controlled for a while here. He also has his Therium tower. So it's like all Hellborn, it looks like, from Leiny. And the passivity of this match has gotten even more passive now. As there's almost no mining going on. And it looks like the Spriggan force has been whittled down, so it's not trying to... So this is the craziest slow push I've ever seen, where they're trying to slow push. Nice binding saliva. Ay, so many shadow flyers. But is the dragon gonna go down? Oh my goodness, stays alive. There are some Hellborn here that get caught by some fiends. And, what happened to Leiny's dragon? Did Leiny's dragon get taken out? Oh, maybe it got hit by those shadow flyers. Thought I saw a dropship. Oh yeah, there we do. Yeah, I don't know if there's 4 Hellborn versus 40. We'll see how that goes. What's in here? Maggies? Weavers? I don't know if Weavers is the right... Now, Weavers can pull the Hellborn, but there's just so many Hellborn here. You'd think that the Hellborn can just one-shot a Weaver. More Mags. I can see the idea behind Mags. They're tanky. They do good damage. They do good damage against buildings. but they are kind of clunky. He's Hellborn. They're doing the hokey pokey there. More like this. I've never seen a game like this before. That's just pure Shroud Stone. Like the composition here right now is Shroud Stone, Hellborn. And Leiny just has so many more Hellborn. I see they're also Therium starved. I think they mined every piece of Therium on the map. Yeah. So they have these huge banks of Luminite, but what can they make out of it? Brutes. Largely. They have this slow trickle from the Therium towers. Look at this matrix here. As soon as they spawn, which they will shortly, they're just going to get immediately mowed. There's still mining going on here. That's the final mine on the map. But yeah, no interaction here. What's going on here? Well, just imps. Of course it's imps. So I said the only thing they can build is brutes. That's not true. They can build imps and shroud stones, which is what we are seeing them build. More imps, more shroud stones. Oh my goodness. Oh, to be these automatic well hogs. Oh, I wanted to go check this, but it, as you can see, it's already dead. So this respawned again, and then it was already killed by the Shroud Stones there. This is the same sort of thing. As soon as those units come back, they'll get killed. Here's another one. There's a dragon up there. And that dragon doing a great job of staying alive. This poor Magmadon over here. What are you doing, buddy? Maybe they do overlap and stack. I might have to check that. The Magmadowns sure were taking a lot of damage there. Again, something to test, I think, after. Although maybe after this game, I'll have to have a nap or something, because this is a much longer game than I was expecting. Here we are at minute 33. Remember when we mined out those first mines at minute 12? That was 20 minutes ago. So, and there's still this one mine here, but again, msrm finished mining all his mines probably 10 minutes ago. And msrm just said, I'm not going to attack. He pretty much said that earlier in the messages. He said, I'm not going to attack. And Leiny here says, fine, I'm gonna just max out on brutes, I guess. And we're gonna go. We're gonna do it. One way or another. Here we see it get aggroed again, and boom, just melted. Hellborn on the high ground, taking out Shroud Stones. Interesting that msrm's got enough for a second dragon. I wonder if he will make one. Oh, I thought those were flame imps. Those are fiends. They did not do what he was hoping. I would have just run the brutes in there, not the fiends. Fiends are they're not resilient at all. Like one hit from anything and they die. And everything down here is splash damage. Like, you could have 30 fiends against a Magmadon and you will lose. As long as it has trample up, especially if it has trample with Demon Hoof Tremors. It's interesting that Leiny has focused over here when he could have just pushed into here. Like, that could have ended the game a long time ago. Hey, there's a dragon back here for Leiny. I think he's lost 2 maybe already this battle. Still a bunch of Shadow Flyers out there. There we are, double dragon. 2 dragons is pretty punishing. You get 1 Shroud Stone. At this rate, there could be like 20 more minutes. And only 4 more Shroud Stones will go down. Here we go. The Hellborn flank. There we go. This is what I was saying. Those Weavers, they're here to snipe Hellborn. They got 1. They only got 1. Here come the Shadow Flyers. Bye-bye Dragon. Magmadon's actually getting on the Hellborn. Nightfall Infestation on the Hellborn too. The Hellborn are just trying to get away. These 4 are... Oh my goodness. Hate to see that pathing. But the Hellborn come back. It's 2 dragons up top here. Now the dragon of Leiny went down, and these 2 dragons are... Oh no, I thought the Hellborn flank might have worked for Leiny, but this might have turned the tides in favor of msrm now. Oh, a ton of Shadow Flyers! This is his last chance! Oh my goodness, so many Shadow Flyers flying in! Oh, look at them all on fire, no one likes to see that! All gone, all dead. But now it's Hellborn on Hellborn. We finally are getting a battle, but the dragons are above. They inhale that dragon, and it was fun, says Leiny. Well done. And that's a good game, and certainly was.